Expandable from a starter, the Dark Horse aims to provide enough space for a medium to large group while remaining affordable and secure. Some notable features are a vast and spacious open core, 3 easily accessible God Bunker loot rooms, and a wide gap shooting floor. The Dark Horse takes roughly 60 to 70 rockets to raid and maintains an affordable build cost for most groups. With all that said, let's get into the tour. Starting off the base tour, first we're greeted by this external TC. To disconnect this external, simply place a roof tile and it'll disconnect. Heading into this first gatehouse here, when you enter in through the single door, you're greeted by an auto turret above you, as well as a nice little area to check for door campers. There are 3 total gatehouses and externals, each with a auto turret on them watching pretty much the entirety of the compound. Heading in through this makeshift gate here, this supports our shooting floor and really doesn't provide much in terms of raid defense, but does provide us a nice bit of cover during an online. Heading into the base, right here we have a shopfront that provides us with some early game visibility to check for door campers. Jumping up right here, we have a nice little window that allows us to see into the open core. Heading into the actual open core, you can see that there's quite a bit going on. Firstly, there are 3 auto turrets watching just about every single angle that someone could use when blowing into your base. If we head over here, we can see that we have the entrance down to the core, and then over here, more bunkers, and then 2 more bunkers, totaling a total of 5 bunkers. Now, you'll see here that I have both large boxes and barrels, and this is because either really work, and it depends on what you want and what you like. They both have their own benefits, barrels being that I can access these back ones much easier, boxes being that I can skin them, making them much easier to sort. To seal the bunkers, simply place down a floor inside of this floor frame. The way that this works is this floor is attached to this triangle right here. This triangle is currently sitting at 28 stability. Now, if I ever wanted to open these bunkers, say when I wake up in the morning, I would simply go down below and place a roof tile just as so. This changes the stability from 26 to 10%, breaking both of the floors. Once I've opened it, I can just simply destroy that roof tile, and now my bunkers are all nice and open again. These bunkers provide quite a bit of raid defense, as in reality you have 3 of these, and they aren't totally fully splashable, or they are quite splashable, but still they act as 3 bunkers and just a little bit stronger than what 1 bunker would be. Heading over here, this is the way down to the starter and the area that you open the bunkers from. Now, you can see here that I have a fridge right here, and you're probably wondering, well, if I have the fridge, I can't seal the bunker. And while that is true, personally myself, I don't tend to actually seal this bunker over here, just because usually not everyone has their bag down here, and although you can fit 7 bags, it's just a little bit more convenient to have this one open, and it doesn't really sacrifice too much on the raid. However, if you did want to seal this bunker, you can fit a total of 7 bags, 4 in this hallway, and then 3 inside the core, so long as you remove this repair table. Beneath this thing, I can fit a repair table, a barbecue barrel, whatever you need, and then inside the core you can see that we still have the boxes from the original starter as well as the furnaces. And over here we have our TC, of course. Upkeep, when it's fully maxed out, sits at right about here, sitting at 9,384 metal frags, 200 and something high qual, I can't quite make that out, and 17,000 stone. Heading back up, you'll also notice that in this open core, I've taken the liberty of, setting things up a little bit the way that I would on a wipe. So we have a total of 7 furnaces, 6 of them being electric, all set up with industrial stuff for these 2 barrels right here. I'll give you a quick glimpse of the industrial in case you ever plan on setting anything like this up. In reality, you can take any liberty you want in terms of designing the open core and like what deployables you want. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. This is just what I found is the most effective for me. Heading upstairs, you'll notice that in these little 1x1 rooms, I kind of just fill it with deployables, one of those being lockers. But really, you can do whatever you want. You could use this as another bedroom, or again, leave it like this. Heading over here, we have 2 beds. There are a total of 6 beds in these bedrooms like that, and the other 2 rooms with the single doors, they work as battery rooms. So I usually keep 1 locker, 1 workbench, and then a battery and some electrical stuff. Oh, already gone to this one. One benefit of having some of the building skins is you can separate these walls. Currently, I just have these little colored lights, but in reality, it is quite a confusing base sometimes, as it's perfectly symmetrical. In here, we have all the electrical stuff, so I'll let you guys take a quick glimpse at that. Essentially, I've got 2 batteries powering the entire system, and each battery has 2 windmills going into it. It produces quite a bit of power, more so than you really need. You could definitely get away with just having 3, maybe even 2 windmills, depending. And with only the 2 large batteries, however, there's only 44 bonus power coming from this system right now. For reference, the red is auto turrets, orange being the electric furnaces, and white being the lights and disco stuff. Once more, 2 other beds. Up in this area, this is the chaotic area. In reality, I've let this kind of open, and you can do with it what you want, whether you want to build here to make it a little bit more secure, or just leave it open like I do. I usually just throw down any deployables that I need space for, whether that's mixing tables, extra beds, computer stations, what have you. I usually just throw that down here. Heading over here, we get to the shooting floor. First, you're greeted by this nice area that's kind of secure with these 2 reinforced windows. These allow you to see outside without the threat of actually getting hit, and they don't actually sacrifice any missing angles from the base. Over here, as you can see, we have a lot of peaks going down into the core, all throughout, and a ton of angles with all these windows. This loops all the way around, by the way. Heading over here, we can head upstairs through this simple jump up. Up here, as you can see, we're greeted by 3 more auto turrets, as well as 2 more windmills and 1 open area right here. I tend to leave this open. You could use it, but having more windmills in one concentrated area will weaken the power. And if you did want to get a SAM site, this would be a great area to put in. With all that said, that's pretty much the entirety of the base. I hope you guys like this one. One thing I'd like to mention is that this base wasn't designed to be, the most meta or the most easily defendable for an online. This was designed to be cheap, effective for a large group, and very strong in offlines. And I feel as though that it has definitely delivered on all 3 of those promises. But with that in mind, it definitely does sacrifice on some of the more meta features for online raids, such as funnel walls or anything of that kind of sort. But it definitely does the job for me and keeps it relatively simple. With all that said, let's get into the base build. Once you've found an adequate area, place yourself right around where you'd want the center of the base to be. And then put down a triangle foundation, just like so. Grab your TC and angle it in the corner so that you can upgrade the walls and everything later on. Put down a door. Next, we're going to place a square foundation in front of this, and then to the right, a triangle, and then on this triangle, 2 more squares. In between, we're going to place these couple triangles here. Then, on the square part, we're going to be doing a half wall on the outside. So 1, 2, and then another 2 over here, another 2 over here. In the end, it should look something like this. Next, we'll seal everything off with walls, except for right here, where we'll have a door frame. Build your ceiling. Then we're going to be doing the honeycomb, the airlock. Place another door frame here and here as well, and then a door right here. Next, I'm going to show you what I do with these 2 other areas. Over here, I use a spot for storage. If you have the barrels, you can get down 3 large boxes in here. Otherwise, fill it up as much as you can. Over here, I like to get 3 furnaces down, and then finish this off with a single door. And that's pretty much exactly what I do for the actual starter base. I'll also put like tier 1, maybe some furnaces, a campfire, some small boxes and bags over here in these squares. The one thing you have to note is that, for one, you can't place anything on the center triangle, as this is needed later on for the roof tiles. And secondly, later on when you need to place these roof tiles, you might have to pick up a lot of the deployables you place on these squares. So do keep that in mind. Next, we're going to be going outside and we're going to be building the first of the bunkers and the harder part of the base. To do this, place a triangle foundation on the square foundation. Note the 2 half walls marking it. Then place another 3 triangles attached to it, and then a square. And then away from the base, we're going to be putting 17 triangles attached to this square. Destroy all the twig you used to build out here. Then we're going to be building back 8 square foundations. Once you're at this point here, you're going to be placing this triangle, and you're going to be attaching it towards the twig triangle right here. To tell if you've done it correctly, you'll see these little rocks in the bottom left corner. Furthermore, if instead of building to the left in triangles, I build to the right, again, there'll be a small boulder in the bottom left corner of the triangle. Once you upgrade it, you can also tell by the direction that the stone is kind of pointing in. As you can see here, it's pointing in this direction with these kind of lines going in this direction. Next, destroy all the twig you had just placed. And then from the triangle, from this perspective, build to the right, 1 square, then a triangle, and then another square. And then towards the base, place 2 more triangles and upgrade them to stone. And to the right, place a stone wall. Going back towards the triangle we placed, on the left side this time, we're going to be placing a square, then a triangle, square, triangle, and then yet another square. Should look something like this. From the square here, we're going to be building out 13 triangle foundations away from the base. Destroy all the twig. Then build back 6 square foundations. Next, we're going to be building 2 square foundations attached to these 2 twig triangle foundations. To tell if you've placed them on the correct thing, you'll see this boulder in the bottom right corner, and then slightly above the bottom left corner, you'll see these 2 little rocks here. Nope, both of these look the exact same. Done them both correctly. To test if you've gone the correct distance, place a wall on both of these with 2 frames attached to these walls, and then attach to the core, place a triangle floor. You should be able to place now a square floor connected to this triangle inside of the frame. If you can, and you've done it correctly, upgrade it to stone. One thing I'd like to note, we're going to be placing a foundation here, and it doesn't matter what it sockets to. So just spam left click. Then do a door frame, a wall over here, 2 more walls right here, sealing this area off. And then from the outside, do 2 half walls, and then 2 floors. And then finally seal off these bunkers. To get in and out of the base, place a half wall right here. Final thing to note for the bunker that's of importance, this floor right here they're replacing must be attached to the actual bunker. So it has to be attached to either this floor frame or this door frame. To tell if you've done this correctly, when you place it down, from below it should look like this. So the little twig should be pointing in this direction, kind of away from the bunker. And from above, it should look like this, yet again pointing away from the bunker, kind of pointing towards this center point right here. So if it looks like this, congratulations, you've done it correctly. Next, I'm going to quickly do the triangle here for the couple barrels that go above. And now we'll seal off these bunkers. Finally, we'll cap it off with the door. And just like that, we've got the first bunker fully built. Next, we're going to have to build the other 2 bunkers on the left and the right. To finish this off, what we're going to do is place a wall here, and then we're going to be doing the other floor, just like we did this floor over here. So simply make sure you attach it towards the bunker, and if you've done it correctly, it should look like this, where they're kind of both pointing at each other, and this one, yet again, is pointing away from the bunker. We'll now do this on the other two sides here, so... Yep, looking good. Once more. Perfect. If you've done it all like this and everything looks exactly like mine, congratulations, you have passed the hard part. Everything you do after this really doesn't affect the bunkers at all, and it really doesn't matter where you put things or where you attach things to. Everything is done now. So now we just build the rest of the base, and it's super, super easy. So to do this, next I'm going to seal off these bunkers and then seal off the open core. Next, we're going to be doing the sealing of the open core. To do this, simply grab a half wall, and then above it, do a window, then a door frame to the left, and then above that, do a half wall. And just repeat this on the other two sides. Up above, what we're going to want to do is place down 2 of these half walls, and then in between these, a floor. And then repeat this on the other two sides. This will exist as our auto turret pods for the open core. Finally, we'll seal off the open core with its ceiling. Place these triangles against these walls, and then ensure that you're placing these 2 floors against these triangles right here for stability's sake. Just as so. You can tell you've done it like that because there'll be a little gap right through here. Finally, we just have to place down the doors and the windows. Now, while you are technically secure in here, you are also extremely vulnerable due to these windows. So I highly suggest not using the open core quite yet, and instead only using the open core once you've secured these windows, which is what we'll be doing next. Over here, we're going to place down 3 walls, 2 floors, and then from over here, place a door frame in every socket. Then another floor right here for the jump up. Then place a couple floors over here. If possible, socket the floor against this square over here, just so that it's easier to place the door frame there. And then over here, 2 walls, then do 2 half walls, a door frame, and then a double door frame. Then over here, once more, I'm gonna do the floor. If possible, this floor up here. Seal it off with a double door above, and then another one below. Grab the reinforced metal shop front, and place that right here. Now you're gonna want to repeat that on the other 2 sides too. Next, we're going to have to build the way up and into the base now that we've expanded. As you can tell, currently right now, there's no way in. So you have a couple options. You can place a ladder here, or you can just place some twig buildup to get in. Both these options work and are temporary, but if you do have the resources, you can do the permanent solution, which is to build the external. To do so, place a square twig foundation right here, then a triangle one, then another square one, and a triangle one. Destroy everyone except for this triangle over here, and then build back in triangles. And the one that's closest to the base, upgrade it to stone and destroy the others. From this one, build out a square, then 3 triangles, and then a 4th to the right. Just as so. To get up onto the square, we'll build 2 lower ones right here, which you can upgrade. And then right here as well, build another one to get up. Now, from this triangle right here, build and twig out 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do a square, and then 3 more triangles, just like this. Destroy these 4 triangles you placed to get out here, and upgrade these to stone. There's a door, 2 doors right here, a wall, 2 half walls on the side that is attached to the square. And then for the TC area right here, I highly suggest you upgrade it to sheet metal as soon as you can. And then place a door frame here for the garage door. And seal it off with floors. Place your TC in the corner if possible, otherwise just kind of put it wherever. Then grab your doors. And place a triangle here to get up. Next, we're going to want to connect this, so go over here, place 2 windows, and a floor, and then off of this, place 2 triangle frames, and then on this side over here, we're going to be doing a square frame, and then 2 more triangle ones. Now, the way that this works essentially, and I'm sure you all know how this works, but if somebody raids my base, my externals here will block them from placing down any new TC or anything else. However, it also blocks me from placing down a new TC. And so, if I wanted to reclaim my base and place down a new TC, in order to do that, I have to go over here and disconnect all the externals. So to do that, you just want to place a roof tile right here. And this will destroy that little thing that connects it, essentially making your TC not quite cover the same area. And when you've placed your new TC, simply reconnect these, and you're all good. So let's upgrade these to ensure that it will remain connected. And there we go. Now, to get into the base, the actual way to get up is 2 triangle roof tiles right here. And there we go. That's one of the externals and the entrance done for the base. You can do this on the other sides too, or you can just have one. For now, I'm going to do just one, as most people would probably want to get the rest of the base done, build upwards, instead of getting a compound, so we'll do that now. To do this, simply place down 4 walls, just as so. 1 half wall right here, and then a frame, another frame, and then right up here, another door frame. 2 triangles over here, 1 square, then jump up, do 2 walls, another triangle, triangle above that, and a half wall. And that is pretty much exactly where we want to go, and do this on this side and this side over here as well. Finally, seal it off with a door. Next, we're going to place down a half wall here, here, and here. Cover them up with floors as well. Then, do a door frame on all of these. Now, you can just slam a bunch of these single doors all around the base. However, it does get a little bit confusing when you're in a room full of 9 identical doors. So you can either change up the skins here and there, or even better, just do a garage door for the way up to the roof. Anything works really though, but people will get confused, so it does help. Next, we're going to seal this off, so we're going to do the floor. So to do that, Just place down a couple triangles, square, and there we go. And now we've secured this general area. Now, next, what we're going to do is we're going to be doing the entrance to the shooting floor, which goes right here, and then this over here will be the way up. First, I'll start with the way up. Finally, seal this one off with a door. Head back down, grab the reinforced or now strengthened glass window bars, and place it right there. Next, we're going to go outside to the shooting floor area and build this part. Over here, do 2 windows, 2 doors, and then seal it off with a ceiling, and place down the deployables. Now we're just going to repeat this on the other 2 sides. Now that you've sealed that all off, head up to the roof, and we will be placing down the roof tiles that are attached to the core. So grab yourself the normal roof tiles and place 2 on each of these squares. Just as so. Next, we're going to be doing the honeycomb. So over here on these bunkers right here, when you place the honeycomb, it'll block off this square foundation. And so before you actually do the honeycomb, you need to first upgrade this foundation. Now, for me and my experience, we ended up getting down our entire base pretty much on wipe day. However, we were struggling to get more metal and more high qual. We had an abundance of stone. And so for me, it was easier to just get the compound up as the next level of defense rather than the honeycomb, as the honeycomb would have blocked me out from upgrading. So if you have an abundance of high qual early game, then go for it. Upgrade these to high qual and then do the honeycomb right away. Otherwise, I would do the externals and the high wall and then go back to the honeycomb. But just for this example, let's say you are loaded, you have everything you need, and you have the high qual. Upgrade these right now, and then you would do the actual honeycomb part. Once you're done, it should look pretty much just like this. It's super simple. I'm going to do it on the other 2 sides, but you get the gist. Once you've done all this honeycomb, your base should look pretty much just like this. Now, the next stage is going to be doing the other 2 externals, and then after you do the 2 externals, it'll be compounding, and after you compound, or maybe even before it, you do the shooting floor. So I'll quickly go over how you do these next two externals. First, run over here, place your twig square foundation right there, triangle, 2 more squares, triangle, destroy all this, then build back in triangles. The one closest to the actual base, upgrade it to stone, delete these ones over here, then build 1 square, then 3 triangles, and on the right, another triangle. Now from this point, you need to build 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles, and then a square, and then triangle here. However, as you can see, I can't. And so this is what happens when you can't. Instead of just building in one line, you could do like 4 like this, and then a square over here, and then 3 triangles. It really doesn't matter so long as it's 4 triangles, a square. That's all that matters. So delete these 4 twig square or triangles right here, sorry. Then go over here, place the window, upgrade that all up. And then go over here and upgrade this one all up. First though, now, as you can see, I just made a mistake. You gotta test for the TC. As you can see, I can, and I thought I would be able to, but when you're doing things differently than what what the default is, make sure you test to ensure that it would work otherwise. Well, it's still in its twig form and you haven't wasted any materials. But next, I'll just do the normal thing. You do 2 door frames, and then double door frame, wall here, wall over here, and then half wall right here. Now, if you have the resources, upgrade this area to sheet right away. Otherwise, upgrade it to stone and then upgrade it to sheet later on. Try and place the TC in the corner if possible. Then grab your garage doors and your single door. Next, we'll do the frames to connect them. And there we go. Upgrade everything. And now you have another external done. Last thing to do here is to actually get this triangle ramp right here. Now we're going to be doing it on this side over here. Run around to this entrance. And I'll speed through this one a little bit. One thing to note before we actually just zoom straight through this is, as you can see here, because of the terrain, I can't actually place this triangle normally. So what's going to end up happening is the actual ramp up is going to be extended a little bit, but yet again, like the other one, just adapt. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but do it as best you can. See right here, I can't place this triangle, so we're going to be raising it up. Which then means I'm probably going to be doing a little half wall right here, or raised foundation, either or. But off of that, then I'll be placing the door frame, kind of like this. Now from here, we're going to be doing the same thing we do every time. Once you've gotten to this point where you have all 3 of the externals completed with the ramp, next thing to do is going to be doing the externals. However, if you want to do the shooting floor prior to the externals, just skip forward a little bit and then go back to here. So for the actual externals, build a little twig part like this going up, and then do a half wall right here, and then 2 half walls here, and cover them up with a floor up here, and then a floor over here. Leave the twig though, because we're going to have to go back to it for the actual barricades. We're going to repeat that exact same thing on the other side over here as well. And then on the other side over there as well. Next, grab your high external wooden walls, Now, if you do all this correctly, it should only take 5 wooden walls. However, if you do make a mistake, do not worry. You can always use a little bit more, or even if it fits well, you can use a wooden gate. It definitely doesn't hurt to actually have a gate entrance into your compound, just in case you get a horse or a car or something, you need to quickly store it. That gate will allow you to. See, right here, this is a perfect example where my wooden wall would not actually fit. I've done it too big. And so instead of placing 2 walls in this really weird angled way, instead what we can do is actually grab a gate right here and just place it right here, because it'll fit pretty much perfectly. Yeah, as you can see, it kind of sockets right in there, covering the entire thing. Otherwise, you'd have to kind of angle the walls out like this and connect it back. But if you do have the gate, I would definitely use it in situations like this. If you want to make sure that that doesn't actually happen, if you want to ensure that you're doing it 5, have the walls a little bit more, a little bit closer towards the actual base. Now right here, we're on an angle, so the wall kind of looks a little awkward. You can kind of dip it and move it around, but it's always a pain in the ass here because it kind of has that little opening up there, and it's definitely a little bit ugly, but it is what it is. Again, if you wanted to, you could do some other weird stuff, but it definitely gets the job done. Now for the barricades, we're going to come up here, and for these, place twig in this area right here like this. So it kind of looks like this, and then do your first one right here. Then for the second one, rotate it like this, kind of bring it right to the edge as much as you can. Just like that. And then delete all of that twig, of course without falling down. And then you can delete this as well. And then finally, just put down your deployables, being a door going in, and then these 2 reinforced ones here. Now, if you wanted honeycomb, or sorry, an airlock, you could build it on the inside going right here, but this would be at the cost of the auto turret. However, if you did this, I would then suggest putting the auto turret on top of it, like above it. So if I wanted it on the inside, I would do it like this, and then put the auto turret up there. Otherwise, you could do it outside, but it would depend on where these are, because if I built the another entrance over here, as you can see, it's now giving this thing over here a bunch more stability. This should be at 30 something. So instead, you'd have to go to the left over here rather than to the right. So just keep that in mind if you do end up wanting that airlock for the compound. Personally, myself, it's a wooden wall. In reality, it's not too hard to get in, so that one door does the trick. Alright, now I'm going to be doing the exact same thing on these other 2 sides and going through it quite fast. Last but not least, we're going to be doing the actual shooting floor. So let's get the final thing done. After that, though, I will quickly go through a couple minute detail for minute things for the base, but this is pretty much the final stage. Upgrade these 2 triangles over here to stone, and then on this one over here, I'm going to do a window frame, and then yet again a window frame, and then a door frame right here. Now, personally, it really doesn't matter if you put deployables here that much. In reality, it kind of helps if like you're getting raided, it gives you a little space to hold and shoot people, but really you're not going to gain much value from it. So if you wanted to, you could just leave this open. Either way, I have to put a door frame there or really something there. So I just did the window and the door frame there. You can do whatever you want though. It won't make your base harder to raid, but it is something. And if you do basically place these things here, giving yourself the option to put down deployables, don't worry if you don't actually put them down. I went an entire 2 wipes without placing a single one of these deployables down for this area, just because it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Over here, put down 2 rows of these kind of frames like that, just up like that. And I'm going to repeat all of this on the other side as well. Next, we're just going to head up into the shooting floor, and then from here, place a floor, triangle, triangle, and then do your actual windows right here. And then once more, seal it off with the ceiling. From beneath here, grab the triangle roof, and then just on the square floor right here, place one down, go to the other one, and place another down just like that. And then finally, to finish this off, place down all the embrasures. And that's 1 of 3 of the shooting floors fully complete, giving you some great angles and a nice little safe area over here. Alright, that's pretty much the entire base. We've got the compound done, we have the honeycomb, we've got everything set up, really. There's only a couple other things I would like to talk about and kind of demonstrate. For one, all the empty door frames, just throw garage doors or doors, whatever you want later on. I've left them empty as they're just like, you know, these are the quintessential doors I'm putting down. These are the ones that you really need just to kind of like actually give you some protection as you build through the stages of the base early game. But as soon as you can, fill that thing with doors. Secondly, in terms of windmills and power, for me, I ended up placing 9 auto turrets, a bunch of other lights, car lift stuff, and some other things. So I used a good chunk of power and ended up needing 2 batteries and 4 windmills. I placed 2 on the roof and then 2 on 2 of the externals next to those batteries. And on the other external, I put a SAM site. Finally, the one other thing I'm going to mention real quick is in terms of boxes inside, boxes and barrels, and how I would like place them. I'll show you that real quick. So for the barrels, very simple. You just place 4. That's it. There's not really much to it. It can be a little confusing though if every single one of these is just barrels because they all look the same. So you can either, if you do want to do go with the barrel route, I would suggest putting like some signs somewhere just to kind of signify like this is guns, this is armor. The benefit of the barrels is I can easily access these back ones without actually having to dip down and then jump back out. Whereas for the boxes, if you have skins, you can have some very, you know, organized and nicely sorted skins, but they're a little bit more tedious to place and a little bit more tedious to access. And I'll show that in a second here. To place them, you just do this, you know, sit in the corner. And then over here, you actually have to jump out for this one because of the frame. And this is always a little finicky and quite annoying. As you can see, yeah, so I messed that one up. So I'll have to go out here. Place this one. And then from here, I should be able to place it. There we go. Yeah, so as you can see, I can't access that back one without actually dipping in. And then I'll have to jump back out. It's not a big deal. It's a very slight and small thing. So really, do whatever you want. If you have the skins and you want that organization, go for the boxes. As for the barrels above, I place these by, for one, going over here, getting that one down, and then this one's always a little finicky, so just do your best. Get it here. And then I like to place something over here to stand on and place the final one right here. Other than that, that's basically, I'll just do that in all of these bunkers and then, you know, choose barrels, large boxes, whatever one works for you. I'll usually put a tier 3 and then, you know, you guys saw the deployables. That's essentially it though, guys. Thank you guys for watching this base build. Adios.